Welcome to the special CBN News Showcase. Tonight, we bring you an in-depth look at issues facing America and the world, from religious liberty to immigration and the impact of millennials to spiritual awakenings in the most unexpected places. But we begin with the 2016 presidential election. After nearly a year of campaigning, the voting begins tomorrow in Iowa. And in order to win the Hawkeye state, Republican contenders need evangelicals on their side. CBN's David Brody is in Iowa, where the final push is on to win over these all-important voters.
In Iowa politics, courting evangelicals can lead to that all-important first win.
I brought my Bible. See? I'm better than you thought.
And Donald Trump is performing better than most experts thought. Polls show a win here would be due in large part to support from conservative Christian voters.
Our family mostly are ultra-conservative, ultra-religious people. Most of them are going to support Trump for one reason. They think he's the guy who's best capable of getting something done.
Trump spoke to CBN News about the importance of winning Iowa.
I'd love to win Iowa, though. I'm spending a lot of time there. I have great relationships with the evangelicals.
He also provided the biggest controversies, like his call for temporarily banning Muslims into the U.S., and missing out on an opportunity to clear a major religious hurdle.
Have you ever asked God for forgiveness?
I'm not sure I have.
Critics say Trump needs a lesson in modesty, and he got it here last week.
Just got back from church, and it was good. It was really good. I learned something. We talked about humility at church today. I don't know if that was aimed at me, perhaps.
His closest polling opponent out here is Ted Cruz. In a final push, he's boldly proclaiming his Christian faith and preaching a campaign message aimed squarely at evangelicals.
Religious liberty for me has been a core principle, has been a tenet that I have been fighting for decades.
Cruz resonates with this Christian conservative community, especially pastors.
I want a leader in the White House. I want someone who's principled, someone who has character, and that is Ted Cruz.
Cruz's preacher father and the campaign have spent a lot of time building a network of pastors to try to put the Texas senator in a position to win. That was on display this final week when our CBN cameras got inside a private-only pastors event.
Shine your face upon this nation once more. Give Senator Cruz the strength to make it to his next stop as he fights for America.
Besides the prayers, Cruz answered questions like whom he puts first, America or Jesus?
I'm a Christian first. I'm an American second. I'm a conservative third. And I'm a Republican fourth.
Cruz isn't the only one out here in Iowa meeting with pastors.
We claim the favor and wisdom.
Marco Rubio, who's running third here, had a similar private meeting. It was a candid opportunity for the Catholic candidate to share his faith journey.
I didn't learn about the Catholic Church until I went to a non-Catholic church and became infused in the Bible and became infused in the written word of God. And only then did the liturgy of the church start even making sense. But it's a personal relationship with a God that knows anything we face because he faced it more than we've ever going to be able to face it.
While Cruz and Rubio work the pastor circuit here, Trump is getting some prayer and pastor support too, back home in New York.
No man can be successful as president of the United States without your wisdom.
And then you add to that these kind words from Jerry Falwell Jr. running in an ad out here in Iowa.
Donald Trump's life has borne fruit that has provided jobs to multitudes of people.
Other messages are also circulating through the Iowa airwaves.
I try to share the same messages of hope, freedom, and faith in God that I was raised with.
Our goal is eternity, the ability to live alongside our Creator for all time.
As for the other candidates, there hasn't been much traction. Ben Carson, a main player for months here, has dropped. Past caucus winners Rick Santorum and Mike Huckabee have both struggled to rekindle the magic. So that leaves Cruz and Trump as the likely heavyweights looking for evangelicals to take them over the top.
Why do you believe you stand out over Cruz as it relates to the evangelical vote?
Well, number one, and there are lots of ways of looking at it, but beyond all else, Ronald Reagan wasn't he didn't read the Bible every day, 7 days a week, but he was a great president, and he was a great president for Christianity. And frankly, I would say that I will be a far better leader. I'll be much stronger on borders. I'll be much stronger in protecting the evangelicals. I'll be much stronger, much stronger in protecting our country. And I think I'll be a much better person for evangelicals, but also for everybody else.
Cruz hopes to prove that he brings the proven conservative record and the values to go along with it, not Trump.
There is an awakening, there's a spirit of revival that I see every day. It's sweeping this country. And David, I fear for America. If we keep on this path, there comes a point of no return.
And Iowa evangelicals will play a huge role in that outcome Monday night here in the Hawkeye State. David Brody, CBN News, in Des Moines, Iowa.
Throughout this presidential campaign, we will begin to see issues take center stage. One of the hottest debates in recent months has been over immigration. President Obama wants to bring more Syrian refugees into the country. That move faces serious opposition because of concerns that America could be importing terrorism. Dale Hurd takes a closer look at the potential intersection of immigration and Islam.
As Europe's winter closes in on Syrian refugees, many find themselves out in the cold.
The weather is cold. Please help.
As America prepares to accept some of them, many are asking which of them are true refugees. What is America's role, if any, in helping them? And how many of them are ISIS?
I take ISIS at its word when it says we want to exploit the refugee program to infiltrate the West.
President Obama says Syrian refugees are less dangerous than tourists, and he wants to bring in at least 10,000 in 2016. But warning signs abound. The Germans say almost 1 out of 3 migrants are lying about being Syrian. The Czech president has warned that Europe is facing an organized invasion and not the spontaneous movement of refugees. One young refugee told this Swiss newspaper he met many radical Muslims on his way to Europe. And FBI Director James Comey has warned Congress that Syrian refugees cannot be properly vetted.
It's not just those who come in here who specifically intend to be part of plots to kill Americans. It's also those who may be most easily recruitable in the years to come.
Clifford May, president of the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, says it would only take a few terrorists to get through.
There were only a handful of people involved in the 9/11 attacks. Just a handful. Is that okay? Are we willing to have a 9/11 attack every 1 year, every 3 years, every 5 years?
Presidential candidate Donald Trump has called for a temporary ban on all Muslim immigration. But when you actually crunch the numbers, those who have gone through the actual refugee vetting process have so far committed no acts of terrorism on American soil.
There have been no refugees admitted since 9/11 who have committed a terrorist attack in the United States.
Immigration policy analyst Alex Nelrasta says Syrian refugees in America would not come through Europe, but from camps in the Middle East. And very few would-be terrorists could make it through the refugee process.
The first level of checks to the refugee system is done by the UN, where they reject 99% of applicants. There are an additional 21 different steps undertaken by the U.S. government that a refugee must go through in order to come to the United States. For a Syrian, that takes about 3 years to go through to come here. So it's a very safe system. It is the hardest way to come to the United States.
There are easier ways for a terrorist to enter the U.S., like green card fraud or a student visa, or simply walking across the border. But what this debate seems to really be about is the religion of the refugees, Islam, and if Islam makes them a potential danger. President Obama, who continues to have trouble saying the words Muslim terrorism, seems to view Islam as the same as other religions. But many former Muslims disagree.
Is it? Is it the same as other religions?
No, it's not. Islam is different than other religions because Islam does not accept any law besides Allah's law.
We asked Brother Rashid, a former Muslim who now hosts a popular Arabic TV program called Daring Questions, if some Muslim migrants are coming to the West not as guests, but as conquerors.
Of course. I have family members in Europe and they think the same thing. I visited them and they think that Europe, they hate Europe, they hate the West, they hate their way of life, so they are there to change them.
Brother Rashid says he does not believe, as some do, that every Muslim is a potential terrorist. because he says many Muslims are not serious about their faith. But he warns that all a Muslim needs to do, like the San Bernardino bomber, is suddenly decide to follow the Quran completely. He says that is precisely what ISIS has tried to do.
These guys are devout Muslims. They are not just a bunch of terrorists who did not understand Islam. All these guys understood Islam, studied it. Al-Baghdadi, the head of ISIS, is a PhD holder in Islamic studies, so he must understand Islam to get a PhD.
There are more concerns about Muslim refugees. Polls show most Muslim countries are overwhelmingly anti-Semitic. One survey found that almost 80% of Syrians support the Palestinian terror group Hamas. Polls show most Americans overwhelmingly oppose accepting Syrian refugees, and over 30 states have refused to accept them. America is not only a land of immigrants, it is the most charitable nation on earth. But when it comes to allowing in some Muslim refugees, Americans may be forced to choose between charity and safety. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Since the dawn of the so-called Arab Spring in 2011, the Middle East continues to see profound, if not historic, change. Given this churning, some believe the area may eventually face a regional conflict with global consequences. In the wake of the Arab Spring, political upheaval led to frightening developments across the Middle East. ISIS terrorists conquered huge areas of Syria and Iraq. Iran struck a landmark nuclear deal with the rest of the world. Russia's military moved into the region, and the two main Islamic rivals, Sunni Saudi Arabia and Shiite Iran, appear on the brink of war. Israel's national security advisor describes the situation in the Middle East right now as a perfect storm. He says the world should look at the overall danger of the situation rather than the individual pieces. That's because what sits in the eye of the storm is the city of Jerusalem and the nation of Israel.
The state of the Middle East is a catastrophe right now. The Middle East is on fire.
Best-selling author Joel Rosenberg sees a gloomy picture for the year ahead.
2016 is going to be a very dangerous year because you're watching the complete catastrophic failure of American foreign policy under President Obama. You're watching the Russians and the Iranians try to move into the vacuum of the American retreat. You're watching the Islamic State on offense. You're seeing Iran has been rewarded for its belligerent behavior and now has two pathways to nuclear weapons. This is a disaster in the making.
Many believe one of those disasters will result from the nuclear deal with Iran. Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas calls it one of the worst diplomatic agreements in U.S. history.
Even if Iran follows the deal to the letter, they are going to be a nuclear threshold state in a mere 10 to 15 years, which, as Prime Minister Netanyahu said, is the blink of an eye in the life of nations.
Cotton says it could lead to a nuclear arms race and put the region on the brink of disaster.
We are at risk of entering a second nuclear age, and the loss of life will be counted not in the tens, not in the thousands, not even the hundreds of thousands, but in the millions. And that loss of life could include U.S. lives because Iran is also developing a ballistic missile program, and they also have terrorist groups that are shown they are willing to kill Americans.
Another storm on the horizon is the brewing battle between Shiite Iran and Sunni Saudi Arabia. The feud hit new heights when the Saudis executed a top Shiite cleric.
Executing this guy is meaning like a declaration of war against Iran.
Middle East expert Michael Barak doesn't foresee war between the two countries. Instead, he expects rival factions around the region to do the fighting.
Actually, we are already witness to the clash between Shia and Sunnis in Yemen, in Iraq, and Syria. It will get worse, and of course.
The final piece involves Russia as a major Middle East player. When the country entered the Syrian civil war, it formed an alliance with Iran. That unprecedented coalition poses a greater danger to the Jewish state.
The alliance between Moscow and Tehran is a match made in hell. And what you've got now is the two countries are now operating in Syria, supposedly against the Islamic State, but it puts them dangerously close to Israel. And the United States, under President Obama, has just thrown up our hands and said, well, you know, whatever, why don't you guys take care of the problem? We are ceding the Middle East over to Moscow and Tehran. This has dangerous implications for the United States and the world and for Israel like we have not seen in generations.
Given these growing dangers, many believe we may yet see even more historic changes in the region and beyond. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Monumental change has also been a challenge here at home, with a major conflict of values between gay marriage and freedom of religion. In one high-profile case, an Oregon state agency fined 2 Christian bakers $135,000 after they refused to make a cake for a gay wedding. And although Aaron and Melissa Klein are appealing the case, they were still forced to make payment when the government raided their bank accounts. They told CBN's Abigail Robertson why they refused to back down, saying their constitutional rights, as well as the rest of the country's, are at stake.
The trouble for Aaron and Melissa Klein began 2 years ago when a woman came into their bakery asking for a wedding cake.
Usual day, she came in, sat down. I had some cake for her to try. I asked her for the bride and groom's name. She told me it was going to be 2 brides. At that point, I was apologetic. I said, "I'm sorry, we can't do this, and I did not mean to waste your time." And she got up and walked out. That was the extent of the encounter.
A few weeks later, the Kleins faced a civil complaint for failing to provide the couple equal service in a place of public accommodation, a citation equal to a traffic violation in the state.
We were of the mindset that we were fully within our rights. I mean, everybody believes that adage, that we reserve the right to refuse business for, any reason.
The couple originally sought just $400, the price of one of Melissa's custom cakes. But Oregon Labor Commissioner Brad Avakian decided they deserved more, awarding them $135,000 in emotional damages. He then ordered the Kleins to cease and desist from openly professing that they won't serve gay weddings because of their Christian beliefs. Since turning down the lesbian couple, the Kleins have had to close their business and have spent the past 2 years fighting to protect their religious liberty. And now they fight to protect their freedom of speech.
It's First Amendment, free speech. You're looking at a government agency telling a private individual what they can and cannot say. This should scare every American.
I'm shocked at the fact that I wasn't even charged. I wasn't even charged, and I'm being told that I have to be silent. And to me, that's like, I don't understand that. That doesn't, I don't see how somebody can tell me to be quiet. And frankly, I'm not going to be quiet about my faith.
Hans von Spakovsky of the Heritage Foundation says the Kleins could seek legal action against Commissioner Avakian for his clear prejudices in their case.
I actually think they have a potential civil rights case against Avakian. He clearly has acted in a biased, prejudiced manner. He's acted as judge, jury, and executioner in this case. And has acted punitively against them.
Spakovsky also feels the ruling is intended to intimidate other Christians.
I think the churches should be getting behind the Kleins, but I have no doubt that they're not saying anything about this because the clear intent of the state of Oregon and Commissioner Avakian is to intimidate the Christian community. That's why he's imposed this huge punishment on the Kleins. And it's very clear that intimidation is working.
Aaron and Melissa have seen mixed support from Christians in Portland.
Even the churches, and I'm not saying all of them, but a percentage of the churches said basically they've made this mess, they're on their own.
Professor Michael Gurney from Portland's Multnomah University sees this mixed reaction as generational.
I think for the younger generation, they don't understand why Christians would refuse. For them, it's not that they see this, they would see the act of baking a cake as endorsing. It's a matter of equality. I think we're going to see more and more of this encroachment upon religious liberties. And I think that we have to really be prepared for that.
Despite the hardships and long road ahead, Aaron and Melissa remain confident God will see them through.
For me, personally, it has been, it's weird to say, but an amazing experience. I've learned so much through all this. God has taught me to trust Him.
Abigail Robertson, CBN News, Portland, Oregon.
Coming up, explosive church growth in an unlikely place. see why Christianity has thrived in communist Cuba.
Hi, I'm Paul Strand with CBN News. Did you know CBN News can go with you wherever you are? On our news app, online at our website, or on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So whether at home, at work, or on the go, you've got your trusted news source, CBN News, with a Christian perspective you can't find anywhere else. So pick up your smartphone and download our app if you don't already have it. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Every day, the Christian Broadcasting Network provides news and information from a global Christian perspective. Our reporters travel the world to uncover the stories behind the headlines. Call now or go to cbn.com to join CBN. When you join us, you'll receive as our gift to you this exclusive DVD, Heaven, Real Stories of People Who Have Been There. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I said, Father, I pray that you forgive me for my sins. You said you have many mansions in heaven, and I pray there's one for me.
They didn't think I'd make it through the night. They thought I'd die of shock. I could feel just life leaking out of me.
Code Blue, we need the crash cart in here.
And I was very aware of the fact that I had just died.
I wasn't afraid. It was like, I'm going home.
Heaven. See real-life stories of people who've been there in this new teaching from Pat Robertson. Available now.
Big changes are underway between the U.S. and Cuba. But while relations are improving, times remain difficult for the Cuban church. Still, despite communist oppression in Cuba for more than 50 years, the church has seen remarkable growth. As Heather Sells reports from Havana, some even believe the hardship paved the way for a church boom that's still happening today.
On a typical Sunday morning in Cuba, you'll find church crowds overflowing around the island. Many are house churches meeting in remodeled living rooms. Others look like your typical church with one big difference: political restrictions.
Space is an issue for so many Cuban churches. For this particular church, the government will not sell it more land, and it's growing, so it's been forced to build up.
On the upper levels, you'll find Sunday school rooms plus 4 spillover areas to watch the Sunday service.
When you have 80 to 100 people in an apartment, it's hard, very hard, and neighbors get upset.
Pastor Miguel leads a house church now meeting in his yard because it no longer fits inside. It's a common theme in Cuban churches fueled by incredible growth and government restrictions. In the past 20 years, more than 16,000 evangelical churches have opened their doors.
One of the things that has made us grow in faith has been the limitations and the difficulties.
Pastor Nestor and his wife Rosa live in one room above their tiny church. On Sunday mornings and during weeknight services, only a few will have a real seat.
People here don't care how comfortable they are. They could be exhausted from working all day and they will sit on a bag of rocks, a stitched-up chair, or stand the whole service, and they're okay with that.
Cuban church leaders say events led by the fall of the Soviet Union sparked the current church planting explosion.
When the Russian government collapsed, Cuba went through a lot, and people started looking to churches for hope.
At the same time, the government ended its atheistic philosophy and declared itself a secular state, leading an entire generation to question what it believed. A government official at the time suggested that churches, unable to obtain building permits, meet in homes. That offhand comment sparked a movement similar to early church growth in the Book of Acts. Pastor Francisco is one of thousands of Cuban house church pastors who followed the gospel with tremendous passion.
We have evangelized everyone who lives in this area, a New Testament Bible to each home. We can't stop, we won't stop, because even if they won't accept the Lord the first, second, third, or fourth time, even so, we can't stop until they come to the Lord.
The growth of the church here is even more miraculous given the country's poverty. Average monthly government salary is $20, and professionals typically make less than $50. Still, Cuban churches are known for their generosity and willingness to sacrifice for the sake of the gospel.
What we have, we want to share with others. What we have, not what we have left over.
Another obstacle Cuban churches face is spiritual warfare in the form of Santeria. It's a blend of West African religions known for its ritual ceremonies.
This is a wooded area in Havana where those practicing Santeria like to come. They will perform ritual cleansings in the river here and offer sacrifices on this rock.
Pastor Nestor faces resistance right in the neighborhood. During one Sunday worship, a Santeria group stood outside the church, beating their drums.
It was kind of like a spiritual face-off. The church just started praying, and then we prayed for rain, and all of a sudden there was thunder, so they had to leave.
Church leaders say they're enjoying a new season of relaxed restrictions. It's easier to evangelize outside the church, and they receive more permits to hold special events. Still, most churches cannot expand or buy land. They cannot produce Christian radio or television shows. And they must work around a dysfunctional economy. Remodeling plans at Pastor Nestor's church are on hold indefinitely until they can obtain much-needed cement.
Sometimes without suffering, there's no challenge, and without that challenge, there's no victory.
Reporting in Havana, Cuba, Heather Sells, CBN News.
Like the church in Cuba, the church in China is no stranger to persecution. Yet the Chinese church is also thriving. In fact, an unprecedented nationwide prayer movement is now taking place. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, thousands of Christians from hundreds of Chinese churches are crying out to God. And CBN's George Thomas got exclusive access to bring us that story from China.
For years, the Chinese government tried to snuff out Christianity. In the late 1940s, some 500,000 Chinese Christians were killed because of their faith. Now, decades later, in what is officially still an atheist nation, Christianity is now the fastest growing religion.
We had a dream that someday we would build a church focused on prayer for China and the world.
Ha Bining and her husband Feng Kai are witnesses to this profound move of God across China. In 2000, the Christian couple had a dream to turn this piece of land in a corner of northeast China into a place of prayer.
My tears fell like the rain and I started praying. God gave us a vision to help bring churches across China together for non-stop prayer.
9 years later, with construction on the property almost complete, the couple sent out email and text messages to friends and pastors, inviting them for a prayer meeting.
We didn't know who would show up or how many. I was praying that at least people from 7 churches would show up. To my absolute amazement, 70 churches joined us that day.
This is home video of that first prayer meeting.
We were overwhelmed at the response. It was totally beyond our expectations.
The Prayer Center started June 2009. Since then, 617 churches from across China have signed up to pray 24 hours a day.
We have 3 main objectives. First, that this will be a place where people can make peace with each other. Second, that God will use this place for churches to repent and compromise with each other. And third, that this will be a place where people can make peace with God.
Christians from more than 100 countries have also visited the Prayer Center.
Every day we receive guests from around the world. It's so exciting to see people pray.
These intercessors know God is doing something special in China.
主啊，中国的信徒不断的聚集。主啊，我们要做什么呢？我们要做什么呢？我们要建大房子吗？我们要聚集更多的人吗？主啊！
When the communists took power in the 1940s, there were roughly 4 million Christians in China. Today, well over 100 million are followers of Jesus Christ. And if current growth rates remain, experts say in less than 2 decades, China will become the world's most populous Christian nation. In return, Fang Kai says God will use China to be a blessing to the nations.
I believe our life as Christians should be a blessing to others. God said to Abraham, "I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing." God blessed Abraham. He is blessing the Chinese church.
Kai and others believe prayer initiatives like this have been key to church growth in China.
24-hour nonstop praying is not an easy task to accomplish, but it is a happy thing for us to do, to enjoy 24 hours of God's presence in prayer.
Through prayers, our heart is broadened. We learn to care for others and for the world. As time goes by, prayers inspire us to love each other.
In 2011, a new seminary and Christian business school were established on the grounds of the Prayer Center, training the next generation of pastors and business leaders to change China for Jesus Christ. For Ha Bining and her husband Fang Kai, this place is a God-given dream come true, to unite churches in China and help bring news of Christ's love to the ends of the earth.
This is the core of Christianity. We are all on our knees, lifting our hands and praying that the gospel will continue to spread around the world and also here in China.
George Thomas, CBN News, China.
The person in our next story knows how the power of prayer can change a life. Bob Beckel is a well-known political consultant and commentator, formerly with Fox News and now with CNN. He explains in his recent book, If Not for the Grace of God, that he should be dead. And Beckel told Jennifer Wishon what saved him.
Bob, you weren't kidding. You really should be dead.
I really should be. Yeah, I've been shot and stabbed in a couple car wrecks where people died. Everybody died except for me, and God knows how many overdoses of drugs I've taken.
In his new book, I Should Be Dead, Bob Beckel explains how he survived politics, TV, and addiction. He took his last drink and drug on January 19, 2001. The night before George W. Bush's first inauguration. Beckel was mad it was Bush, not Gore, who was heading to the White House.
And I went down to a biker bar in southern Maryland, and I was at the bar trying to pick this woman out. It was very attractive. And I felt something behind me, and I turned around. Her husband was there with a .45 caliber right in my face, and he pulled the trigger. And it didn't go off. He hadn't chambered the bullet. Somebody grabbed him from behind, and it blew a 3-foot hole in the ceiling. So they threw me out in the parking lot, and just before I passed out, I remember saying, God, I really don't believe, but if you do exist, that's the last drink I'll ever have.
He woke up in the VIP room of a Washington psychiatric ward. To add insult to injury, he could hear Bush's inaugural parade while lying in his bed. The story of Beckel's self-destruction to that point is extraordinary. One of only 2 photos in his new book include his father, a brilliant man who was also a drunk.
I came from a dysfunctional family, very dysfunctional, and my father used to find great humor in throwing me down the stairs. And, you know, back then, you went to school and you were all beat up and nobody said anything.
Bob's passion for politics started as a young boy, first in 1960, watching his father support John F. Kennedy, and later with his dad's involvement in the civil rights movement. Ironically, it was the beatings from the hand of his dad that taught him to thrive in Washington.
As a survivor, you learn how to talk fast, cut deals, lie when you have to. Perfect training to be a politician, you know. So when I got out, I did very well in the business, and in Capitol Hill, it's full of survivors.
You arrived in Washington on your birthday, 1972, with very little money, absolutely no prospects. 5 years later, you're sitting in the Oval Office briefing President Carter. That's extraordinary.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's for a guy that grew up the way I grew up. But then, because I didn't have faith, I couldn't figure it out. I kept waiting every day for the Secret Service to come into my office and say, "Oh, you fraud, get out."
Throughout his storybook career advising congressional campaigns across the country, Beckel made millions. He eventually lost his business, his marriage, and his once flush bank account. There at his lowest point, sitting on a rock in the middle of a field in Maryland, Beckel called out to God.
God, I don't know if you exist, and this is probably the worst thing for me to do, to ask you the first time out, if you could help me with some money, but I need money really badly. And next day I went out to the mailbox, and always junk mail, nobody ever sent me anything. And I opened it up, and there was a letter addressed to me, and there was a check inside for $20,000 from a guy that owed me that for 15 years. Now, you know, people could say that was just coincidence, but I don't think God's in the business of necessarily doling out $20,000, but I think that, you know, he gives you free will, and including free will is the will to seek faith in him and through Jesus Christ. And if you do that, you will be rewarded for it. I believe that.
Conservative columnist and friend Cal Thomas helped lead Beckel to Christ, and reading the Bible made him rethink some of his positions.
When I came to faith, I was on pro-choice boards, you know, and I dropped off of those because you couldn't read the Bible and be pro-choice.
But he still considers himself a liberal Democrat.
I still believe that there are, you know, tonight someplace in this city, a child's going to be born to a crack addict mother and someplace tonight in this city in the rich suburbs, a white kid will be born to wealthy parents, and I just don't believe they have an equal shot at life. And unless and until I'm confident that everybody has an equal shot at the American dream, then I'm going to remain a liberal in the sense that I do believe that the government has a responsibility, along with charities and others, to help that child till they're 18 years old.
Now he works with addicts, leading interventions to get people into rehab. He's reveling in a life that's joyous, happy, and free.
There was a huge hole in my stomach, you know, that I kept filling with drugs and alcohol. And now I fill it with God, and it's a much better way to go, and he won't make you sick, you know.
Jennifer Wishon, CBN News, Washington.
Hi, I'm Paul Strand with CBN News. We want to hear from you. Is there a CBN News story right where you live? Go to our CBN News Facebook page right now to find out how to submit your story idea. You know, the kind of story that alerts, informs, and inspires. Maybe you've seen God at work behind the headlines. Help shape the stories you see us report. Go to our Facebook page now to learn more on how you can give us your story ideas and be a part of what we do here at CBN News.
You can only get this kind of news coverage from the Christian Broadcasting Network. When you partner with CBN, you're supporting award-winning journalism from a global Christian perspective. Plus, you give humanitarian aid to people across the world. Join today, and as a thank you, you'll receive this exclusive DVD, Heaven, stories of people who have gone to heaven and returned to tell about it. Stay with us.
Heaven, eye hasn't seen, neither has ear heard what God has prepared for them that love him. There'll be no more tears. There'll be no more sorrow. There'll be no more suffering. That's why we want to be part of it.
Heaven, what God has prepared for those who love him. Get this newest DVD teaching from Pat Robertson. Available now.
Easter celebrations are a little more than a month away, and just in time, an epic new film is picking up where the Passion of the Christ left off. Risen tells the story of Jesus' crucifixion and resurrection through the eyes of a high-ranking Roman military officer who doesn't believe. It's also his mission to prove Christ's disciples wrong. I sat down with the star of the film, Joseph Fiennes, for an inside look at the making of this movie. He calls it the greatest murder mystery ever written.
Risen is a masterful murder mystery. It's the resurrection story through the eyes of an unbeliever. British actor Joseph Fiennes plays Clavius, a man of war and death.
A big attraction for me was the way his mind worked, but what I found, to get to his mind, I found that I had to take a physical route. I went to gladiator school in Rome.
And
how long did you stay?
I stayed long enough to never want to go back. No, I spent the good part of a week working with a brilliant set of guys, and what I learned from a military standpoint, really for me, was the way into the way the man was conditioned and the way that he thought.
Clavius is an ambitious Roman soldier who first tries to prevent Christ's body from being stolen after his crucifixion. Then he sets out on an angry journey to find the body after it disappears from the sealed and guarded tomb. He's a bit of a detective.
It's beyond us.
Spare me the riddles and zealot babble. Where did you take Yeshua? Is he a goblin? A sprite? Alive again somehow?
Open your heart and see.
I see delusion.
It doesn't matter.
A matter.
No.
Then give me the others and I'll grant you freedom.
I'm already free.
I know it was a physical journey for you. Was it also emotional?
Yes, it was emotional. We had a wonderful team of actors, and they were all very present and dedicated to the narrative. And it was all like any great narrative and any great movie. It's about relationships, and you know, I think your average good actor gets that and knows it and preps accordingly. So the disciples as a group of actors were incredibly bonded. They were a unit and a family. And I was very much polarized and outside of that. Mm-hmm. But when I got invited into the group, it was kind of like the arc of the film was pretty much the arc of my existence with them. I wouldn't have contact with them until we had kind of made those scenes where I had contact. So that became quite emotional, that journey.
Director Kevin Reynolds shot the film in Spain and Malta, where Fiennes also had no contact with the actor who played Christ until their first scenes together.
I don't know what to believe anymore.
Did you find yourself connecting with Clavius a lot?
I did. You know, filming's lonely. He's a lonely character. I think for me, he, you know, we all want a second chance. And I think that's the really interesting component, is that I think deep down, especially in regards to putting Yeshua to death or being present and ordering his death or being part of that squad, that deep down he wants a second chance, and part of that second chance is forgiveness. So he's really searching for something, and the answer is in this new cause. And I guess, you know, through lives, we all make mistakes and we're always looking for that second chance. So I think a big component in the movie for me, and what I connect to with Clavius, is the sense of the second chance, even if it's something subconscious within him that hasn't quite bubbled to the surface or he's worked out. So I love that component.
That second chance is exactly why Christ suffered, died, and was risen.
CBN has spread the gospel through the animated series Superbook for about 40 years. As times have changed, so has Superbook. It's moved from the TV to the computer screen and now to an interactive app. CBN's Caleb Kinchlow spoke with the man behind this technological leap. You're watching the digital download, and today, guys, we are talking about Superbook. Hey, Gizmo.
That's right, Ephraim. I am a fan, and if you didn't know, that's CBN's animated series, and it's more than 40 years old. Superbook brings the Bible to life in more than 106 countries, and it's been translated into more than 40 languages. Since its creation, at least 500 million people have seen it. To put that number into perspective, that's the population of Texas multiplied by 18.
Well, as times have changed, so has Superbook. It's not the cartoon I grew up on, this VHS, believe it or not. It's now a 3D animated series, and it is available on your iPhone or tablet.
It sure is. So that's why I headed over to CBN Central in Virginia Beach to find out a little bit more information about this app.
Hello? Is this thing on?
Why was it so important to create an app for Superbook?
We wanted to take
the best aspects of the Superbook animation series and integrate them into the Bible. So bring the Bible to life. Get to know the characters, learn more about God, learn about God's plan and His love for you, and how the Bible applies to your everyday life.
I know there are a lot of incredibly exciting features on the app. What are some of the most popular ones?
Yeah, we put a lot in there. So there are a lot of features. It's a full Bible. So you've got the full Bible text, a lot of different languages, different versions. You can make notes, you can highlight verses, you can have your favorite. You can even upload photos. So if there's a verse about love, you can put a picture of your family in there, things like that. You can learn about the characters of the Bible, the places, the artifacts. There's a daily devotion called a daily quest. So you get a encouraging verse every day, and then you can do some fun games around it. So we've got games in there as well. You can do word searches and trivia.
That's great because, I've been a fan of Superbook since I was like this little. So it sounds like what the app is doing is taking what you see on the show and helping you to dive in deeper to help the kids really explore and understand.
Whenever we answer a question, we have the verses and the references. So it's not just our thought about what this answer is, but it is what does the Bible say and how does that apply to you? And I think another key feature is the want to know God section. It's a very easy way to explain the gospel to kids.
It is a cool app for even me, the big kid.
And you can download this app on any smartphone. Just head to the App Store and look for Superbook.
Get it today. I'm Ephraim Graham.
And I'm Caleb Kinchlow, and this has been your Digital Download.
Hi, I'm Paul Strand with CBN News. Did you know CBN News can go with you wherever you are? On our news app, online at our website, or on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So whether at home, at work, or on the go, you've got your trusted news source, CBN News, with a Christian perspective you can't find anywhere else. So pick up your smartphone and download our app if you don't already have it. And make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Don't go away. There's more CBN News to come after these messages.
You're watching special programming brought to you by the Christian Broadcasting Network. We invite you to watch the 700 Club every weekday. Visit cbn.com to learn more. Stay with us.
Heaven, eye hasn't seen, neither has ear heard what God has prepared for them that love Him. There'll be no more tears. There'll be no more sorrow. There'll be no more suffering. That's why we want to be part of it.
Heaven, what God has prepared for those who love Him. Get this newest DVD teaching from Pat Robertson. Available now.
You know the old question, who's the boss? Today's answer is quite different from the past because the millennial generation depends on their tech-savvy skill to climb the business ladder. As Caitlin Burke reports, that climb can get difficult when they're put into positions of authority over their older co-workers.
A decade ago, the idea of seasoned professionals being managed by someone half their age seemed like a dream to some and a nightmare for others. Today, it's becoming the new normal.
Many companies realize that younger Gen Xers and millennials bring a distinct set of skills to their operations, skills that matter most in this changing world.
Millennials bring a unique talent in terms of their technology savvy, their ability to absorb change quickly, and these are very useful skills that companies need right now.
These Gen Xers and millennials have the ability to work 24/7. And I think what they bring to the table is the ability to interact with anybody, to do whatever they want to do, almost any time during the day or night.
Knowledge of all things digital stands out to companies needing to compete in that arena. That helped seal the deal for Austin Kellerman, who took the job of news director at Little Rock's NBC and Fox television stations. At only 31, he was the youngest news director the stations had ever hired.
A digital push was a big part of it. That's a big push in the company right now. Digital, through the web, through social media. And I think social media is just one of those things I've always been passionate about, and so something I wanted to kind of bring in to help put my stamp on what KARK and Fox 16 would be in the future.
But bringing in someone so young to lead older employees can often be a roadblock to positive change.
Their previous boss was a little older than I am, and they walk in and at the time, here's this 31-year-old and he's going to be my boss? I've been in the business for 20 years. I should be able to tell him what to do. Now, I didn't get anyone who said anything like that, but I would imagine that's what they were thinking.
This generational shift is just beginning as the workplace gets younger and younger.
And this is a strategic imperative to use millennials as leaders in the workforce because of the skills they bring.
Both Torrance and Klein say this new office transition can be a smooth one, as long as communication and respect are part of the relationship.
Those younger millennials need to help those older employees understand what it's like to work with them. The baby boomers and traditionalists need to understand that they need to let the millennials and Gen Xers do their thing. Don't worry about how they're doing it. The bottom line, their productivity, is the most important.
Kellerman says his leadership style combines things that come naturally to him as a digital native with concepts he's learned from older employees and mentors.
I think being a younger person, a younger manager, I've always tried to, approach more experienced or older employees in that regard and just make sure they understand that I value them and truly use them as a resource.
Kellerman is successfully leading both KARK and Fox 16 into the digital-first future of news.
Digitally, our footprint is much larger in terms of Facebook followers, Twitter followers. One interesting trend we've seen over the last few years is now people don't go to our website anymore. They come to our website through Facebook. They don't visit the homepage.
The risk companies take to bring in young managers may result in growing pains at first, but it's a generation equipped to step in. Some parting advice from the experts: never doubt your abilities, and remember, there's always more to learn. Caitlin Burke, CBN News, Little Rock, Arkansas.
Up next, the place where God is said to be at work, right in the middle of a crowded shopping mall.
Hi, I'm Paul Strand with CBN News. We want to hear from you. Is there a CBN News story right where you live? Go to our CBN News Facebook page right now to find out how to submit your story idea. You know, the kind of story that alerts, informs, and inspires. Maybe you've seen God at work behind the headlines. Help shape the stories you see us report. Go to our Facebook page now to learn more on how you can give us your story ideas and be a part of what we do here at CBN News.
You can only get this kind of news coverage from the Christian Broadcasting Network. When you partner with CBN, you're supporting award-winning journalism from a global Christian perspective. Plus, you give humanitarian aid to people across the world. Join today, and as a thank you, you'll receive this exclusive DVD, Heaven, stories of people who have gone to heaven and returned to tell about it. Stay with us.
In Pat Robertson's new teaching, Heaven, you'll hear the biblical answers to who will go to heaven? Will I know my family when I get there? Can I lose my place in heaven? And will there be rewards in heaven? Find out the answers to these questions and many more. Plus, see real-life stories of people who've been there in Heaven, a new teaching from Pat Robertson. Available now.
It is one of the most colorful and popular spots in all of Jerusalem, the open-air market. And as Scott Ross shows us, it's not only a place to shop, it's also a place where you can see prophecy fulfilled.
Mahane Yehuda, the camp of Judah, known as the Shuk in Hebrew, it's Jerusalem's most famous market, and like so many other places in the city, there's nothing ordinary about it. Here we are in the city of Jerusalem.
Absolutely.
About to cross a very well-known, historically known, Jaffa Road. About a mile and a half down the road is the old city's Jaffa Gate. In the late 1800s, a few brave Jews established homes here, a long way from the protection of the city walls.
Today, you would never even imagine such a thing, but when they moved out of the old city, they were moving to these secured kind of neighborhoods. And that's why the name of the market is called Machane Yehuda. It's named after that neighborhood that was built in 1887.
Jaffa Road connects Jerusalem to the Mediterranean seaport at Jaffa, considered by some the oldest harbor in the world.
Who would have been on this road in the recent history? Someone like General Allenby. when he came and conquered this from the Ottomans, 1917. Theodore Herzl came down this road. But when we think really old, really ancient, do you realize that the cedars from Lebanon that were imported by David and then Solomon, they had to come from Jaffa into Jerusalem. Now, we don't know exactly the route they took, but this was the main artery. It certainly hasn't disappeared off the face of the earth. It's had a transformation. Now it's a pedestrian mall with a beautiful European light rail going through it.
My wife Nedra and I joined Hannah Ben Haim on a walk through the shuk on a busy Friday as shoppers prepared for the Sabbath.
It's Shabbat, and we have to buy challah. Challah is the braided Shabbat bread, and it comes in several different styles. Do we want it with raisins and sweet, or do we want it without raisins? Okay, we want the tzimukim. And traditionally, you would buy 2 of them, because on the Friday, when the children of Israel were in the desert, they always had a double portion, right? Let's go find some olives.
That's good and spicy.
Of course, the olive is part of the symbol of Israel.
Yeah.
We have the menorah with the 2 abbreviated branches from Zechariah 4. Not by might and not by power. But aren't these delicious?
They're good.
So let's keep going down. Look at, isn't it beautiful? Look at
Everything. Look at this.
And they're organic.
Dozens of countries and cultures are represented in the shuk, brought here by Jews returning to the land from more than 100 countries. An Iranian Jew started a spice shop in Jerusalem in 1953 and later moved here to the shuk. Today, his grandsons still run the shop.
All the mixes is the same, like the grandfather. Everything I grind here.
And you do all the mixtures yourself?
Before, I mix all this. This for rice, cheese, salad. This is pistachio, onion, and mixed spices. It's mixed for rice.
So 3 generations mixing spices and selling spices here in Jerusalem from Iran.
An estimated 200,000 people visit the shuk each week. Rich and poor, young and old, religious and secular, as well as Jews and Arabs, shop in the market. But it's had its share of tragedy, too.
Yeah. Well, this is what I came to show you. That says remember, to remember.
July 30, 1997. Suicide bombers killed 16 people here and wounded almost 200. Terror attacks in the market virtually destroyed business, so the municipality reinvented the shuk to make it one of the trendiest places in the city.
How are we going to encourage people to come back here? So the new floors and the new ceilings, and even though it doesn't look very brand new to you, and also the openness to so many different other kinds of shops and restaurants, bistros, even nightlife is here.
It's obviously been very successful.
So you see, all things work together for good. This tragedy brought new life. We haven't even seen a tiny fraction of this shuk yet. And this is called the Iraqi market. So we're going down this way now.
More than 250 vendors sell everything from fruits and vegetables to gourmet cheeses, nuts, and special boutique items like flavored tahina and halva. And some of the best restaurants in the city are here.
This is a very open kitchen. Come see.
Yes.
This is a lamb.
Lamb.
We like lamb.
Very good. It's spicy.
We ate at the Zura restaurant, started by the owner's father in 1952, with traditional Turkish and Iraqi food.
It's so amazing, the abundance of food that's here. I mean, the tomatoes are like that, and the variety of food.
One religious Jew summed up the shuk for us. He said, if you want to talk to God, go to the Western Wall. But if you want to see God at work, go to the shuk. And that's exactly what we saw. Scott Ross at Mahane Yehuda Market in Jerusalem.
Thank you for joining us for the CBN News Showcase. Each day on the 700 Club, CBNnews.com, as well as Facebook and Twitter, you can find stories with hope and insight you won't find anywhere else. We'll see you there.
It's a place where everyone wants to go.
It was as if I was looking at a million shimmering diamonds.
I was planning on staying.
A place filled with happiness and free of fear.
There was no pain, no regret, only anticipation.
Everything is right. There's nothing wrong here.
I didn't see a face. I didn't see any features other than this beautiful light.
It can't be explained in human terms.
How do you get there?
I left my body. I know I did.
And I was very aware of the fact that I had just died.
And who gets to go?
I just recognized the fact that God is with me.
I was thrust through this white portal, and instantly I was standing in the presence of Almighty God.
Heaven. See real-life stories of people who have been there in this new teaching from Pat Robertson. Available now.